I used to believe in love. Not the movie kind of love, but something grounded, built on trust, understanding, and patience. My name is Melissa Thompson, and for nearly 11 years, I thought I had that with my husband, Jason. We met back in college when he sat next to me in our intro to psychology class. He was charming, funny, and intelligent. He made me feel seen, like I mattered in a world that constantly tried to make me invisible. We got married 3 years after graduation, bought a home in a small suburb of Atlanta, and planned a quiet life filled with dreams and security. For years, I devoted myself to our marriage. I wasn't perfect, but I tried my hardest to be a good wife. I supported Jason through 2 job layoffs, celebrated his wins, cooked his favorite meals, and helped him care for his ailing mother until she passed. But somewhere along the way, something changed. Jason became distant, emotionally and physically. Our conversations dwindled into monotone exchanges. He stopped complimenting me, stopped noticing when I changed my hair or when I dressed up for date night. At first, I blamed stress, work, or maybe just the dull rhythm of life. But the gut feeling I couldn't shake told me something darker was going on. It was the lipstick that did it. A faint coral mark on the collar of a white shirt I had just ironed for him. I never wore coral lipstick. That night, I waited until he was in the shower and opened his phone. I knew his passcode, same as always our anniversary. The truth hit me like a cold slap to the face. Her name was Emily. Younger. Prettier. A coworker, of course. Their messages were filled with flirtation, inside jokes, and memories they had no business sharing. There were pictures, videos, things that made my stomach churn. I didn't confront him right away.
No.
I wanted to be sure. So I played the part. I smiled when I had to, I cooked dinner, I even initiated intimacy just to see if he would respond. He didn't. That same week, I followed him after he told me he had a late meeting. I watched from my car as he laughed with her outside a downtown restaurant, his hand on her back like it belonged there. They kissed in the parking lot like they were in a movie, like I didn't exist. That's when something inside me broke, not just sadness, but anger, fury, betrayal. I had given this man everything, and he threw it away like it meant nothing. I cried for days. I stayed at my friend Erica's house, lying to Jason that I needed space to clear my mind. Erica had known something was off for a while. She was the one who convinced me not to blame myself. "You did your part," she told me. "Now it's time to do something for you." Those words stuck with me. I didn't want to be the woman who was used and discarded. I wanted to reclaim myself, my power, my dignity. Revenge wasn't the goal, not at first. But it slowly became a delicious idea I couldn't let go of. That's when I met Malik. He was one of Erica's clients. She ran a wellness center and often organized fitness events. Malik was a trainer, tall, strong, confident, and unashamedly real. He wasn't just physically impressive, though believe me, he was, but he also had this energy, this unshakable confidence that made everyone in the room look his way. When Erica introduced us, I noticed his smile first. It was warm, genuine, the kind of smile that felt like sunlight after a long winter. I didn't tell him about Jason right away. I didn't want our conversations to be about my past. I wanted something new. Malik and I started talking more. Texting. Meeting up at casual spots around town. He never pressured me, never made me feel like I had to pretend. He listened. That alone was something I hadn't felt in a long time. And for the first time since the betrayal, I felt desirable again. Not because someone told me I was pretty, but because I remembered I was worthy.
Strong.
Deserving of respect. A few weeks later, I told Jason I was coming home. He didn't ask questions, probably relieved that he wouldn't have to lie anymore. But he didn't expect the new version of me. Confident. Cold. Calculated. I had made up my mind. I would leave, but not before he felt the weight of what he'd thrown away. I planned everything carefully. When I'd pack, when I'd transfer the money to a separate account, when I'd cancel the joint credit cards. But before I walked out of that house, I wanted him to know exactly what he lost. I invited Malik over one afternoon when I knew Jason would come home early. He had a half day from work. I knew because I still had access to our shared calendar. Just another oversight from a man who thought I'd never find out. Malik understood the plan. He wasn't doing it for drama. He told me I didn't need a man to prove my worth, but he'd be there if I needed a reminder of it. And I did. That day, I wore my favorite red dress, the one Jason once said made me look too flashy. Malik couldn't stop looking at me. We laughed, talked, and when Jason walked in and saw us together, his jaw nearly hit the floor. There wasn't any shouting. No violence. Just a stunned silence as he stood frozen, watching me sit comfortably beside a man who actually made me feel alive. Jason tried to say something, but I raised my hand to stop him. "You don't get to talk," I said calmly. "Not after what you did." He stuttered, asked if this was some kind of game. I smiled.
"No, Jason."
"This is clarity." I stood up, looked him in the eye, and said the words I had rehearsed 100 times. "You taught me how it feels to be betrayed. Now I'm teaching you how it feels to be replaced." The next morning, I left.
I didn't cry.
I didn't look back. I moved in with Erica temporarily while I found a new apartment. Malik didn't become my savior. He became my friend, my supporter, and someone who reminded me that one chapter's end doesn't mean the end of the story. Over time, we grew closer. We went on real dates. He showed me that healing wasn't always loud. It could be slow, kind, and respectful. Jason tried to reach out after the divorce papers were served. He sent long emails filled with apologies and regrets. He said he missed me, that he didn't know what he had. But by then, I had already found myself again. And there was no way I'd go back to being the woman who begged for scraps of affection. My revenge wasn't Malik. It wasn't that moment Jason walked in and saw what he'd lost. It was reclaiming my voice, my worth, and walking away with my head high. The true revenge was showing him I didn't need him to feel whole. I had become a version of myself that didn't depend on anyone for validation. Today, I live a quieter life. I'm building my own business, surrounding myself with people who respect me, and learning that happiness isn't found in someone else's approval, it's found in freedom. And while I don't believe in holding on to anger forever, I do believe in standing up for yourself when someone breaks your heart. So to any woman or man who's been betrayed and thinks they're not enough, you are. Don't let someone else's lies define your worth. Rise from it. Rebuild. And when you walk away, let them see you shining brighter than ever before. That is the ultimate revenge.